Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Hi, Alan. My name is Barak. I'm the Director of Development for Leganto. And today we're going to talk about LTI 1.3. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay, let me know that you can see the screen.
Yes, Barak, thank you.
That's great. There we go. Okay, so let me start and a few basic things before we start with those who are not aware of what LTI is. Okay, so LMS is the initials that we're going to use during this presentation. This is the Learning Management System, or as you know it, the VLE. So we're going to see this word in the next slides. So just that we understand, we're talking about, this is the course management system. It's either Moodle, Canvas, or Blackboard, or whatever LMS you have. This is okay. So what is LTI? It's initials that stand for learning. Forgot what it stands for, but anyway, it's a protocol for communicating between the LMS and something that is called an external tool. In our case, it's Leganto. Leganto is an external tool. So it's a protocol for communication between the LMS and Leganto. This protocol is a standard and it exists in most LMSs. So it's not something special for Leganto. This is a standard that exists around the world. There are many other external tools as Leganto, but each external tool does its own specific thing. So why did they invent the LTI? They invented it in order to extend the LMS functionality. So the people who built or thought about this standard understood that the LMSs are going to develop functionality that is around courses, but there might be extensions such as Leganto that offers reading lists. There might be extensions such as, taking exams or doing assignments in a separate system that is not the CMS or the LMS. So this is why we need LTI. And what is LTI? Basically, eventually, it's a link in the LMS that once a student or anyone clicks it, he arrives into a different system, but this user is already signed into the second system, and usually course details are passed as parameters to the external system. Okay, so this is LTI. This is the basic things of LTI, connecting the LMS with an external system.
Barak, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there is a gray square on the screen towards the right-hand side of your text. I wonder if you're able to remove it at all.
Talking about
yes,
this.
That one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's gone now. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Okay. So we've talked about what LTI is, and now I just want to explain what the LTI integration profile is. The integration profile is our invention. It resides in Alma. And in order to get your LTI integration working, the first thing that you usually do is create an LTI integration profile in Alma. So what is this LTI integration profile? So looking at this screen, you can imagine it as a door that if you have the key to this door, you can access Leganto. Okay, so we can see on the left side, you might, as an institution, have more than a single LMS. You can have one, it doesn't really matter, but you must create an integration profile, at least one, a door that has a key for the students and for faculty to enter Leganto as a signed-in user. And the only way of doing this is by creating this door, this integration profile. So as you can understand from this screen, there is no problem of creating multiple doors into Leganto. Okay, you can create as many as you want. You can use only one of them. It doesn't really matter, but you can create doors. And every door you create, you also get a key to open this door. So as you know, the integration is once you create this integration profile, you copy the key that you get from Alma and you place it in the LMS. And this is how, when students arrive into this door, the LMS knows to provide the key. It opens the door and the user arrives into Leganto through this door. Okay? Up till now, the doors that we created were with version 1.1. And now, from the June release, we are going to support the version of 1.3, which is LTI 1.3. So if you decide to implement LTI 1.3, you will start by creating an integration profile that is relevant to the version 1.3, and then you will continue with the integration as you did with 1.1. So we've talked about what LTI is. We've talked about what LTI integration profile means. And now let's talk about what LTI 1.3 means. So as you can understand, it's a newer protocol from LTI 1.1. And some of its advantages are the more possibilities of integration compared to LTI 1.1. So if we look at these possibilities that I've listed here, we can talk about embedding content in the LMS. So we're going to see an example at the end about what this really means. It enables us to integrate with assignments and gradings. What this means is that you will be able to create an assignment in your LMS, and the assignment itself will reside within Leganto. These are going to be assignments that are based on what we call social readings. That's the ability to annotate text and add comments to these annotations. So we're not going to talk about assignments in this presentation, but just bear in mind that soon Leganto is going to expose an assignments feature in it, and you will be able to connect your LMS assignments with the Leganto assignments. And in addition, faculty will be able to grade students inside Leganto and automatically sync these grades back into your LMS. Okay, so this is a new possibility that now is available for us once we support LTI 1.3. And another possibility of integration is what I called here the link selection. So as you know, today we support relinking. That means you can put an LTI link and then point it instead into the list itself, into a specific item in the list. It's either a section or a citation. So this functionality already exists, but LTI 1.3 will allow doing this in an easier way than it's done today. We're not going to talk about this as well. I am going to talk about embedding content in the LMS, but as we go ahead with our developments, we will release news about these new features. And just that you know, when we use LTI 1.3, we are continuing to use the same data that we use today with LTI 1.1, which is the username and the course code. So this is data that is passed to us, and with this data, we're able, first of all, to log in the user automatically and then display the relevant data that is relevant to the course code that is passed to us. Okay, so LTI 1.3 arrives in the June release of Leganto. The documentation is already on the web in this URL. So if you have this presentation or not, we will send this link. It's in the developers network, just along where the documentation for LTI 1.1 existed. So you will see it easily there. And basically the integration of LTI 1.3 includes 3 steps. We talked about the first one, it's creating an integration profile. You then copy the details from the integration profile into your LMS. This here in step number 2 is where LTI 1.1 stopped the integration. I mean, there were only 2 steps for LTI 1.1. You created a profile and you copied the data into your LMS. With LTI 1.3, there's a 3rd step by which you need to copy data from your LMS back into your integration profile. So it's an additional step as opposed to LTI 1.1. So you can read all about it in our documentation, and we will be enhancing this documentation by the time the June release is released to you. So how does it look? This is a screenshot from the integration, the LTI integration profile in Alma. On the right side, you can see what we had in LTI 1.1. On the left is 1.3. So it's the exact same screen, same buttons that you're used to. The only difference is that here in the drop-down, you will choose version 1.3. You will be displayed with these 2 sections, where in LTI 1.1, you had only the first section. This is the data that is copied into the LMS. So now it's a bit different. Instead of a key and a secret, it depends on the LMS that you're using. But this is a screenshot for Canvas users. So here you will receive 3 links that you need to copy into the LMS. And as we said, there's a 3rd step where you need to copy data back from the LMS into the integration profile. These are the fields that you will fill in with data that you received from the LMS. And once you copied back the data to here and you clicked save, the integration is more or less complete. So this is all there is to LTI 1.3 on the Leganto side. Should be very simple. A suggestion of how an upgrade can occur. So first of all, you need to understand that in your LMS, you can run LTI 1.1 in parallel with 1.3. I already explained that from the Alma side, you can open as many doors as you want. So you can immediately open a 1.3 integration profile. There's no problem with that. It's not in use. Everything else is continuing to work as needed. So there's no problem creating an integration profile in Alma. There's no problem in starting the integration on your LMS. In parallel, everything will continue to work with LTI 1.1. So what we suggest is configuring the 1.3 on both sides, testing it while 1.1 is still running. And once you see everything is working as needed, you can hide 1.1, the links of that using 1.1, and now start exposing 1.3 and having maybe new courses only use the LTI 1.3 when the old courses still have the old links. So this is just an idea of how this can be achieved. And so we talked about LTI, we've talked about what LTI 1.3 brings to the table. And I want to show you now screenshots of the first step that we're taking advantage of LTI 1.3, and that is embedding data in your LMS. So how is this going to work? So this is the screenshot. What we're seeing here is, first of all, this implementation is currently only for Canvas users. I'm not yet sure whether other LMSs support this integration, but if they do, because LTI is a standard, what we see here will also work with other LMSs. Up till now, I haven't seen an additional LMS that supports it, but as I'm not an expert, I might be wrong. So the documentation that currently exists only for Canvas. So what will Canvas users get once they, first of all, implement LTI 1.3, and then do an additional small configuration to allow what we see on the screen? So what we see here is the built-in editor of Canvas. Okay, it appears in some pages that Canvas offers. And in the toolbar, you'll be able to see a new button that you can name however you want. This is our naming. We called it Import Citations. This is the thumbnail or the image, the icon that we decided to associate with this text. This icon is our default. You can change it to whatever icon you want. So I'm opening the editor in a context of a course, and I want to put content in it. I can click this button, and I will be exposed with a pop-up that will open upon this editor. I will see the list content that is associated to the course that I'm currently in. I will be able to select the relevant items that I'm interested in. I can see that I can choose the different bibliographical style that I want it to be imported in. And then I click the Add button, and what happens is that the data is copied into your LMS editor. You will see this data here inside the editor. If you want, you will be able to change, you will be able to type in text and change what you see here. This is the default of how it arrives using this specific bibliographical style. You see there's a link here. Students clicking the link will arrive into the full view of this item inside Leganto. It will open in a new tab. And you can control the text of this link up here. And this is the first feature that LTI 1.3 will allow users or Canvas users that implement this. That's it. I'm done. And I'll be happy to hear questions that you might have.